In this video, traders, I want to talk about ego and trading. Stay tuned. Hey traders, warm welcome to you. Thanks so much for joining me. I know there's plenty of videos on YouTube and you've chosen to click on this one. Appreciate that. I will take 5 to 6 minutes of your time to talk about ego and trading, and I hope you get some value from this. All right, so ego, it's very difficult to separate ego from my trading sometimes. And especially as a developing trader, you go, oh, and you feel that kind of real grab, and it's like it hurts you deep in your soul when you do something wrong or something happens, and it's like it's your ego that's getting bruised and getting bashed. The good news is, if we fast forward multiple years down the line, you're going to be completely free of that. You're going to like, hey, my ego is not attached to the outcome of each individual trade. My ego is not attached to my P&L. My ego is not attached to this. Because you're forced over time just to unshackle yourself from that and say, hey, you know what, that is not me as a trader. My identity is not there. Therefore, my ego is not getting bruised when this happens and that happens and that happens. And it becomes a much more relaxed and calm place to trade. That's not to say you don't care about the results. Absolutely you do. Not to say you don't put the effort in. Absolutely you do. But it's a slight, subtle difference, should I say. Okay, so revenge. Think about revenge, right? Your ego is, I've been stopped out, man. That market, it's done on purpose, it stopped me out on purpose. And this is the funny thing, as developing traders tend to say, they, as in there's a cartel of people moving the market around to get there, and so they demonize that market and go, I'm going to get it back. It got me there, it stopped me out, took my money. I'm going to get it back, and that's your ego talking. There's not a they. It's a group, collective of people who are making a decision on price. Now we could go into I've done a video about, is there really kind of a plunge protection team and that's and the other, and to put that to one side for now. Because there's arguments potentially that there's some kind of manipulation sometimes at certain things, but markets have always been in that situation. But generally speaking, it's not a they who are out to get you, it's you against a group of everybody else who are participating in the market, hedge funds, institutions, retail traders, etc. And so for you to go, they got me, I'm going to get it back, treating it like a human enemy, is just your ego talking. It's just like saying, damn it, that ocean smashed me into the ground when I was trying to surf. God, I'm going to get that thing. It's absolutely ridiculous and pointless. And your ego may be bruised, but it doesn't need to be. It's like, hey, I'm trying to surf this wave. I'm trying to get this trade. It didn't work out. How can I improve? Is that improvement process? And number 2 is performance. So we tend to, as traders, because most people who come into trading are high achievers, or they want to kind of push forward, we're ambitious, we're driven, all this type of stuff, because that's what attracts us into this business, okay? And so when the performance isn't what we want, we feel like our ego is bruised and damaged. It's like, oh man, I've identified myself as quite a high achiever, a high performer, maybe done other things in life that have done well for you. You've elevated yourself in a career, or you've got a business, or whatever it may be. But then in trading, you're like, hang on a second, this is ridiculous, I should be doing way better. And the ego's like getting bashed and bashed and bashed. And that tends to trigger bad trading behavior. It tends to trigger trading on tilt. It tends to trigger taking excessive risk, all this type of stuff that damages the account. When in actual fact, it's like, okay, this is a learning curve for me, and actually I'm going to learn more from it if I just let my ego dissipate and just become a student. If you were going up into a monastery to learn some, I'm trying to think, what's that film that guy goes up, is it Karate Kid, Mr. Miyagi up there? I think it is, ages ago since I watched that film. Goes up, doesn't he, to try to learn karate, right? He's in this kind of mountains in a monastery type thing, temple, and you go up there humbly, like, hey, I don't know anything about this, I'm not in the best shape, and I'm prepared to be molded. And you would be beaten up, you would be chucked around, you would be sore, you'd be this, you'd be that, the other, and you would have to go in there with no ego, because otherwise you wouldn't learn. If you went in there saying, I know everything and this, that, and the other, it just wouldn't work for you. It's the same in trading, releasing yourself from that ego. Fomo, another thing, a little bit comes from ego. Hey, I want to get that. I'm not gonna let that get away without me. I've decided on that so long, and I will absolutely not get away with that. Let that trade go without me making money. I'm going to do it, and I need to do it. And then that triggers the FOMO. So again, it's the ego coming in saying I must get on this, rather than saying, hey, this is one trade out of thousands. If I miss it and it doesn't perfectly trigger up to how I want it to trigger to put the risk capital on, I won't take it. And that's the more relaxed place to be. And then peers. So This is very rarely does someone stand up and go, I absolutely think it's doing this. Now, do we look at trade ideas and charts and analyze stuff and go through the pros and cons and be objective? Absolutely. But that's different to saying this is absolutely definitely going la 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 because you're staking your ego on it. And then if it doesn't work, your ego's bruised. And sometimes people then can't take the loss, they can't do this, and it ruins your trading. So ego and trading impact all of these things and many more. It creeps in. So if you can always think your North Star is, hey, let me leave my ego at the door here in trading. I'm going to be humble. I'm going to be open to learning, to improvement. I'm not going to have any preconceived notions of what I should be or how it should work. I'm just going to go with the flow and improve and look to seek and improve every little tick that I watch, every trade that I take, every loss that I take, every win that I take, every journal entry that I put in, improve. And that then ironically accelerates you way more than the person going, oh, I'm good at this, it's so ego focused. So drop the ego, it'll help you loads. Take care, see you next one, bye bye.